Mexico has extradited 26 high-ranking cartel members and leaders here to the United States in a major victory for Donald Trump.
Yep, Mark Meredith joins us live from the White House with more. Mark, what are the details?
Brian, Ainsley, and Lawrence, good morning. Plenty of details to share. Good morning to all three of you. The Trump administration says it's made some notable arrests, with 26 men now in custody after facing a number of charges from drug trafficking to murder, and these were all fugitives who were captured in Mexico. Take a look at the rap sheet of some of these people who were arrested, including men at trafficking hundreds of tons of cocaine, a man accused of murdering an L.A. County sheriff's deputy, leaders with the Sinaloa cartel, and those also believed to be responsible for helping bring fentanyl into the country. The Attorney General, Bam Bondi, reacting, saying these 26 men have all played a role in bringing violence and drugs to American shores. Under the DOJ, they will face severe consequences for their crimes against this country. The administration is also thanking Mexico for collaborating in this operation. It also comes amid questions about how the administration plans to tackle some of the world's biggest drug cartels. There's reporting the U.S. military will target cartels throughout Central and South America, but how far those military operations may go remains unclear. Just this week, Mexico's president said any U.S. military strikes against cartels in her country would be an invasion and not tolerated. This week, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, he was actually on Fox and was asked about these reports about the U.S. military operating in these Latin American countries. He wouldn't go as far to go into detail, but he simply said that taking out these cartels remains a top priority for the administration. Brian, Ainsley, and Lawrence, back to you.
And now they will face justice in our U.S. courts, right?
Absolutely, Ainsley, and there's a number of jurisdictions where these will be taking place. I know D.C., New York, L.A., just absolutely some of the most horrific alleged crimes that these people commit. But obviously the message they're trying to send from DOJ is that we are going to go after these people even if they are not within U.S. borders.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
So, I mean, we're going to spend a lot of money in warehousing these people for the rest of their lives. But I guess one of the things they can do, send a message. And number two is get information. Guys, you want to have another hour in the yard?
Yeah.
I need some more information on the construction of these mob families.
Well, their enterprise is already broken right now because part of the reason how the cartel makes money is through the legal app having to tackle this, because Kamala Harris was supposed to tackle root causes, and it's the cartels that are in charge of these operations. Now it looks like the administration is shutting it down, and that's why they're releasing bounties now on our agents and our military, is because they're being effective.
Second time that Donald Trump has worked with the president of Mexico to bring the cartel members here so that they can go through our justice system. But the past president had a phrase that he used was hugs, not bullets. So now the new president of Mexico is working well with Donald Trump to try to cut down on all the drug trafficking across the border.
I mean, there's a theory that the cartels are more powerful than the government. So they have to pretend as if the president of the United States says, the president of Mexico says, hey, I don't want the U.S. here. But behind closed doors, they're working so well together. He's got what? They got like an 8-month extension on the tariffs?
Yep.
There's got to be something behind the scenes where Scheinbaum says, save me from the criminal element within. And I'm wondering if we're going to get to the point where there's a military strike against these cartels.
And speaking of Mexico, do you remember when the congresswoman from Illinois went down to Mexico City with other Democrats? She's super liberal. And she said this. She said, I want to finish by saying a few words in Spanish because I am a Guatemalan with much pride before I am an American. Well, now she's speaking out against ICE. Listen.
In my own district, in District 3, we've stood up rapid response efforts to defend our communities against Trump. It's why Tom Homan hates me so much. He says, we come to Chicago, but Chicago's too educated on their rights because he hopes that we don't know our rights so they can violate them. Well, Tom Homan, let me tell you, all over the country, we will continue to stand up for our rights, and we will continue to call out the terrorist organization that is ICE.
So, first of all, to call a U.S. law enforcement agency a terrorist organization is reprehensible. Everybody in her party should condemn that because, first of all, it's not true. For the party that says they support law and order and democracy, the only way that you have a democracy if you have law and order. The second thing is she's not effective at all.
I know.
I'm waiting for the first Democrat to say we want the criminals gone, but Mr. President, here's our bill. We don't want amnesty, but we'll talk about visas. We'll talk about the people that's been here for a while. We'll talk about reforming the process. And you know what, Mr. President? We actually agree with the wall. We agree with the border enforcement, and we're going to give you permanent funding so we don't have to debate this ever again. But none of them want to do that. They just want these press conferences.
I think they're afraid, even though it's not close to the midterms, got over a year and a half, they're afraid of showing any cooperation with the president. They think it's going to be detrimental to their success in the midterms. How about you do your job? I understand the last 6 months, you got to worry about your party. How about you do your job? And you could be successful and queued up in 2 years to say, wow, somebody was able to notice the border was sealed and start doing something about work visas, and maybe some not path to citizenship, but people here over 20 years in the hospitality and agricultural community, they will have a path to stay.
Well, and also she calls ICE a terrorist organization. ICE actually prevents terrorists from getting across our border. So protecting you and your family and your community from a terrorist. There are many terrorists that would love to come through our borders and attack America, right? Well, also, ICE is taking pedophiles off the street,
100%.
Gang members off the street, murderers, people who beat their wives. Is she not for that?
It doesn't seem to be. And I'll add one other thing. Anybody who thinks you're going to diminish ICE and destroy their morale, well, you didn't help it, but you haven't hurt the application process. 10,000 openings, 100,000 applications. So that's pretty impressive. I get the incentives are good, too.
That's right.
What was the bonus? They get a $50,000 bonus?
$50,000 and $60,000, up to $60,000 to pay off their student loans as well.
Great, great.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.